Welcome everyone to the 264th weekly MLP Drawing School live critique stream. It's March 23rd already? Why do I still see snow there? Someone answer me this.
It was
What?
a lovely
No, what are you talking about?
65 degrees over here in America land, so.
What? It's 65 degrees? Is everything on fire? Like I've got
Yeah.
my oven at 65.
Yep, everything burning to the ground. I mean, that's the general state of America, just constantly burning to the ground.
Whoa. How do you deal with it?
I cope.
See, that's oh my god, it's 18. Damn. That's 18 Canadians. Or 18 the rest of the world except for I think
like
Madagascar?
2 other places.
Yeah. I think you got a little place over there. So you could join the rest of the world one day.
I hope for it.
Anyway, enough roasting of Allie for her choices and units.
Yep, I chose to be born here. Yep.
Yep.
It's all your fault.
That was my choice.
And speaking of choices, I choose to mention that today we have joining us Pixanope. Okay, maybe not. I think they stepped away. Probably searching for a calculator to switch between freedom units and non-freedom units.
It's fair. I'd need one.
In another place that doesn't use freedom units, Fluffy's Eye.
Yay! We have numbers that make sense. If only I understood how to understand numbers.
And in a place that believes that a king's toe is a good use of a measurement device, Alleyclaw.
Me. I stole it from Fluffy's people. But
Then we realized we were stupid.
yeah.
I learned it from you, Dad.
That's about right.
Yep. Yep. Hi, ponies. Art.
Horse.
Critiquing. Horses.
Hello,
Oh, hi, Pix. Welcome back.
Hey, we have dogs, and dogs are issues.
Oh my god.
Oh no.
They need hugs and pats and...
Good, no stress, only vibes.
Only vibes.
Only
Is that
So-
like OnlyFans, but vibes?
That's good thoughts, yeah.
You gotta be careful on that one, Allie.
Yeah, actually, no, careful. Are we starting with
Yeah,
arts?
absolutely. We're gonna start with RGV and I don't know what RGV stands for, but
Rugov.
yeah. So they submitted this on our
Violet.
Discord.
They don't play by nobody's rules.
Whoa.
RGV, you with us, buddy?
Red, green value, and they are colorblind. Okay, there we go.
Sweet. You can unmute yourself if you want to use voice talk with us for this one, or you can just use text. Don't matter. Feel free to respond, though, because we love people responding.
Conversations of critique are the best. Critique really is a conversation.
I would like
Oh, I
to
see.
submit my art
understood.
piece. I'm mostly focusing on shading.
I'm currently here with you guys. Pretty
Hello.
cool. Oh, by the way, RGV stands for Rio Grande Valley, which is my general location.
Oh.
Yeah.
I was gonna
Anonymous.
guess really good
Uh,
vehicle.
Yeah, that's
but-
pretty much it.
So questions?
So you submitted your piece to the stream, mostly focusing on shading and consistency in light direction. You're also trying to figure out how to make it more convincing bandana and more realistic / convincing hair. You accidentally deleted the Krita file. Whoops!
Oh no.
Been
Happens,
there.
but it's okay.
Yeah.
There's always next picture not to accidentally delete stuff.
You can keep accidentally deleting stuff. That's only vibes. Only vibes, yeah.
Pixie. Pixie is just subsiding off of vibes. They do not eat, drink, or use the facilities, just vibes.
Yeah. I stick up for anything else to grow down here in Australia.
Fair enough.
Okay, so light source. Where did you place your light source in this?
The light source for my image was generally coming from the left side over to the right side.
Okay.
However, the way I set up the gradient was lighter on top and to get darker at the bottom, but slightly from the left side going over to the right side. But yeah, I just kind of winged it a little.
All right. When you're drawing out your light source, do you actually physically draw in a source of light, or just like a directional sort of arrow, or do you just imagine it? How do you do that?
Oh, I just in general imagine it and then
Okay.
just kind of build around it. But I think a line would help.
What I really like to do, both traditional and digital, I just draw something in. So if I know I'm going to be shading, I'll go ahead and draw in a 3D arrow. In this case, it appears to be going directly onto them, so I would just draw a regular arrow. But if it's coming on an angle, little circle, whoop whoop, a little bit of 3D going on there, helps me visualize the angle and figure out the direction it's going. And I can always reference back to that one for every single highlight and shadow I'm dropping on. It just makes my life a bit easier.
Oh, I see. Then in that case, I can put in another layer and draw the arrows there, and then continue drawing using that as a guide.
Yeah, it's so easy on digital. Harder to erase on traditional. Okay. I'm liking your lighting. One thing I will dissuade you from. It looks like you're using when you're doing your highlighting and shadows. You're actually just taking your color and moving it towards light and black, which seems like it would be accurate, but it's not actually accurate. As things get darker, you actually just sort of want to hue shift them a bit towards blue, and as they get brighter, hue shift them towards yellow. It will make a much more pleasing change in the coloring. So if we were to, well, it looks like someone's already doing it down here. Who's doing that? Pix?
Yeah, no, that's me.
Oh, I see.
So sort of on the color wheel. Oh.
We lost him.
Goodbye, RGV. We will remember you. So good.
I
I'll do
will
the example.
remember you.
Ooh woo.
Ooh, woo, 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 woo.
Do you want to just wait to see if they come back? Ping them?
Yeah, I'm just chilling. I'm only vibing.
I don't know how you do that.
We
Yeah,
need a
we're vibing
vibe.
kind of person.
We need a vibe counter for every time Pixie vibes.
We'll just
The
plus
Pixie
plus
fine.
them.
Plus.
Yay.
Yeah.
Sorry,
back.
Discord crashed.
No, all good. So, are you looking at the stream still?
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I was I'm using Discord on my phone and looking at the computer through. Well, I mean, looking at the stream through the computer.
Oh, good. So, if you look at this set of colors up the top here, these are the ones that are in your image. And so this is sort of your normal color in the middle here. And then you add black to get the dark color. And then you add white to get the light color. If you look,
Yeah.
if you look
In
down
general.
here, yeah, I've done the same thing. But instead, I've made the shadow color darker, but I have also shifted it more towards blue. And with this light color, I have done the same. So I've added white to it, but then I have also shifted it sort of towards green. And what that does is that basically just makes the colors a bit more vibrant. So, for example, in the shadow areas, if you use a color that's hue shifted like this, it'll basically just come off as a little bit more natural than just using the color at the top here, which is just a little bit darker and same actual color and all that sort of stuff.
Oh, I
It's a
see.
bit of a tough concept to get, so don't stress too much. But if you look at any YouTube videos on color theory and that sort of stuff, there's usually a concept that they touch on, so those can be pretty useful.
Oh, I see. I'll definitely take a look at those. Out of curiosity, uh, I have a question about the shifting the hue over to from white over to green.
Mhm.
Does that have to do with blending in a little the grass with the white on the light hitting the hoof?
No, it's a little bit separate. So you can do something along those lines as well, in like a separate shading pass kind of a thing. So I've just got like a brush here that just is sort of low opacity green, and if I want to, I can just do it on sort of do a little bit on the hooves, kind of a thing. But no, that's separate. The shifting it towards green is basically just shifting. Let me actually get a thing. It's basically just shifting the because the sunlight is like a little bit yellow and a little bit warmer. You're basically just shifting, taking the original color and then shifting it towards that sort of yellow, warm part of the color wheel on the light side, and then on the dark side, you're sort of shifting it towards the opposite, so towards the cool blues and purple sorts of thing.
Oh, I see. So it's somewhere in the middle between yellow and blue.
Mm. I do have some stuff I've written up for other people on color shifting, so I'll probably check that in the channel a little bit later.
There was a. I should try and find it, but there's a Discord. Sorry, Discord. There's a TikTok video I saw a little while ago about color palettes and like how like using colors that aren't actually the color you think they are, but then like in like and around other things have a completely different effect, and it's really fascinating. I'll try and find if I can find my phone, and I could maybe link this thing. But it's a whole other
Yeah,
journey of discovery.
colors are all sorts of strange and weird and fun.
They're crazy. There's a lot you can do with them. They are magic. But it's just about discovery and experimentation.
Color is big. Have fun. Do things. Be
Mhm.
color. There's lots of also there's like a bunch of stuff in the tutorials. The tutorials channel. Lots. Color is huge, so don't feel like you need to get it right away or understand every shift in form and idea of how to mix and do different things. Have fun and experiment and just read
I
up.
spent my whole day experimenting with colors for a design.
Understood. I'll take a look at tutorials to take a look at well, I mean, to take a look at all the information there. I've seen a couple of awesome tutorials there, so yeah, I'm sure that'll definitely help with color selection and hue shading.
Mm, absolutely.
Oh,
I'll
also,
chuck some stuff in there as well. Mm.
also, I just kind of loaded up Krita, and I was taking a look at the colors. For example, switching over to, well, the sun being a yellow color and the base color of the character being blue. And
Mm.
I did notice that halfway, it was actually green. So like sun yellow, color blue, the halfway point would have been green. So I think that's how I kind of, well, I think that's the connection between the yellow and blue on the somewhat green hue color to be applied on the lighter spot. I think at least.
Mm. Interesting.
Alright, do you have
you
any
all
further
talked
questions? Oh,
about the bandana thing?
someone was doing an excellent one up top. Allie, was that you?
Oh yeah. I just did a little doodle. I think the main important thing to note, and this really goes for anything, it's not just like a bandana thing, anything that goes around a character or, clothing, jewelry, hats, anything like that, it doesn't just stick to their body like a wet t-shirt. It has form of its own. So to have it come out a bit from the neck and actually wrap around, I need a better color. That's there we go. Okay. So to have it like, I'll do a little knot in the back and have it actually swoop over. It might not even just. Oh, my keyboard is moved, so I'm not used to the shortcuts. Do there. So even if it is from a 2D angle, you could have it just poke out a bit and have little bumples, give it some texture, tie it right back up. You can do also what I did up here and just have it come around a little bit more and cut off that edge. So it feels a little bit more 3D, like it's going around the neck rather than just sticking to the neck like a sticker. So just some small lines like that can really make the difference, and that's goes for anything attached or someone's wearing.
That makes sense. Thank you.
Doesn't this pony look sad? They need a hug.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, that was his general emotion. It was part of a RP session that I had about a year ago. He had a relationship with Blue Blood, and he got brainwashed by Changeling, so kind of like Chrysalis with shining armor. And well, yeah, pretty much Blue Blood was convinced that this character was taking advantage of him and banished him over to wherever, and now he's sad.
Yeah.
Aw.
No.
That sounds a lot of steps.
Send all the hugs to the pwn. Emergency hug.
So if you are like looking into a lot of these sorts of shapes and especially like bangles and all that sorts of weird stuff, the shape that you're gonna like run into a lot is, say that this is like the thing, the body part or whatever. You have like a line like this that sort of follows the curve, and then something that just like does that. This is like the super common sort of shape. It just this like tucks in above, and same for here, that tucks in above, and then everything else just sort of hangs below. And this sort of a shape will sort of be applicable for bandanas, for collars, for anything.
Celestia's regalia.
That's a really cool guide. It's yeah, for sure it comes in handy. It reminds me of the advice I received when submitting the gummy image from last time, or from a while back, to kind of like use a square and a circle to kind of readjust the image or make it easier to be able to kind of orient the image. And this is very similar to that as well. So yeah, I'll definitely take a look at that for the next iteration of this drawing. Thank you.
Oh, good, no stress.
Yeah. It's really good. Like, you should feel good. There's a lot of good shapes going on here. Like the face, especially the head shape, you have some really nice proportions. It's just some small tweaks and it'll get even better.
Yeah.
All right. You got any last questions for us?
Oh, I just kind of wanted to ask if there was anything I could do to the hair to make it look more believable as hair. At the moment, it does seem kind of like I used the paint tool to make a regular hair shape. Sorry.
I think applying. So you've applied the shading to the horse. Applying the shading to the hair will drastically improve it. It gives it shape. So you have a pretty good starting shape with the pointy bits and not Not too many large area, or not too many small areas just jetting everywhere like some type of anime anti-hero. So this is working pretty well. But yeah, whoever's shading that is got the idea.
Yeah, I'm just chucking some hue shifted values on top of it. If you look now down near the tail, someone is drawing a cool tail shape. Cool, like shading it is super good and cool, and it'll help it sort of blend into the rest of the image and make it look as good as you want it to and all that. But it does take a lot of practice to sort of get the shapes to understand the sort of shapes that'll work well and how to actually shade them. So don't stress too much if it takes a bit of time to figure out sort of where the highlights and the lowlights and all that sort of stuff go.
Oh, I see. And oh, I see. For shading here, think I see a pattern like uh each shade treated as an individual hair. So for like darker shade, just do one strand of hair on a darker shade, and then on the lighter shade, one strand of hair, lighter shade. Rinse and repeat kind of thing for each major hair strand. At least that's a pattern I'm picking up.
Joke's on me, my mic was off.
Your
Oh.
mic is also very scratchy.
You've become a wasp.
Yeah. If you look at this section as well, this is like I'm sort of combining shadow shapes and all that sort of stuff, and it's kind of like shading hair is sort of similar to a lot of other stuff. Just figuring out where to put the lights and the shadows and all that sort of stuff, and eventually you can dig into all sorts of different things and issues and all that. But yeah,
Going on the topic that I was trying to say while my mic was unplugged, talking from experience, getting shape for the hair and stuff, it really does take a while to understand that more floof is good, and that if you just make straight stuff is kind of like it gets boring sometimes. If you go higher or like make little round shapes all over the place, I don't know. I don't really know how to explain it.
is there any chance, Len, that you could unplug, replug your mic, possibly? Just because it's a bit scratchy and staticky and all that sort of stuff.
I did.
There you
Yay!
go.
Oh, no,
Perfect.
it's better.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah, getting
also welcome to Chatland.
Thanks.
dynamic shapes is hard.
All right. Well, then let's
Cool.
move on to our next picture.
Yeah. M?
Yeah, embroidered. Why not? They're usually hanging around hidden somewhere, and if they aren't, we'll throw it at their head.
M. So, ooh. Working on another single layer painting thing, and I keep having trouble with face, legs, and side of the trench coat dragging on the ground, especially. Cool. Single layer painting stuff is really interesting and exciting.
I don't think they're available this time, so you wanna make sure something's not dragging on the ground? Draw the ground out.
Yeah.
The one that I love to use and see a lot of other people do, grids. Grids make life easy. It's easy to visualize a grid. So we're just gonna follow your horse here, figure out. Wow, your vanishing point is. Nope, I'm wrong here. I'm not able to. Yeah. Oh no, I think it's lower. Look at the angle of the foot. Like the foot here is only that. Same as the other foot, we basically get a flat. I think it's literally back here. Yeah.
Some good enough.
Sure. Yeah. We'll call it good enough. So basically, you're gonna draw out your grid. It spawned from the vanishing point. Vanishing point is like the central area that lines up before everything changes angles on you. So you're gonna have left, right. I don't know how to properly describe that actually, but anyway, it's that dot. That dot. Everything spawns from this dot. All life. You can draw all lines coming from this, and everything gets happily placed on it. And then we can grid the rest of it out. We can use that as a representation of where everything gets to sit. So if I know that my both of my hooves are on the ground, I can use this line here as a comparison for this cloak. And I can try and visualize the cloak and how it interacts with that area. So now that I have a grid here, I can see that the cloak is a little bit low. Yeah, whoever just did that up in Reddit, that looks like Pix. Basically,
Yeah.
only just a little bit more up, or possibly if you want it down that far, flicking it out further behind. Because then you could just make it look like it's dragged.
Yeah, if you want it to come sort of down this far, then it sort of needs to come forward towards the camera. Then you'd probably start seeing some like bunchy uppy sort of stuff going on. Perspective grids are interesting and strange, difficult beasts, but very useful. They're also very useful when working out sort of where things fall on the ground, where hooves go, and all that sort of stuff. Because then you can like work out other characters like roughly sort of here, and they are in balance because everything, the main bit of their weight is sort of between the hooves and all that sort of stuff. So very useful.
I think your hoof positioning right now, though, is fine. I
Mm.
wouldn't alter it too much.
Yeah. So I think I wish you were here. I have some questions. So I know you said this is another single layer painting. Now clearly this doesn't start as a single layer, right? You mush this all together because the background was definitely done with an airbrush until you merge the sketch and the background together to get that nice bloom effect. So even, um, I would I wouldn't focus on needing to merge so much so soon. It almost feels like you're going too detailed before you get the general in. Something with painting is there's a lot of planning with painting. There's a lot of need to get the general areas covered before you start going into specifics because there's going to be a lot of overlap and a lot of changes that need to be done before you put all the specifics in. So once you start etching in all those little specific shapes, you're probably going to end up covering them while trying to fix another big generic area. So working general to specific can be a big help in the planning phase of a painting. And you can also just not merge the background for a while until you have that generic plan in place, the general plan in place for the figure overall, like the lighting and the big areas that are going to be hit. I see a lot of textured strokes going on all over the body, like the arm here, it really stands out. I almost think those brush strokes you're making are much too small too early, because there's still a lot of cleanup to be had. So that the small strokes you tend to usually, of course, there's no hard and fast rule, come towards the end, because smaller is for detail, and in a painting, just really taking up those large brushes and using them tend to be what you get. You get better edges using larger brushes. You get cleaner and you get more solid areas. Like the person who's just throwing down some strokes now, they're making these big strokes with big brushes, and it's almost reading a lot clearer. Like you don't need to make these gradual, perfectly gradiated shadows in painting. In fact, paintings usually are so much more lovely when you don't do those gradated shadows and you get that texture from a bunch of larger brushes, bumping into each other. and I feel like this rant's going nowhere, but this is definitely probably for next time, is don't condense so quickly. You can still have 2 or 3 layers and it still be a painting in digital. You have the tools, don't be afraid to utilize that. We're not just stuck to one canvas. And use bigger brushes. That would be my second takeaway. Let yourself blotch things out, like, put everything in place and then start figuring out the details. Try not to go so small so fast. And that way it'll help you clean things up better because you'll just gradually get smaller and smaller, and then it'll just be more about tidying rather than fixing the already small strokes over and over again.
Yeah, we've been talking about just vibing today, but like when you're in sort of the earlier stages of painting like this, that's all you want to get down is just vibes. So like these big brush strokes on here, all that sort of stuff. By like starting big, it lets you very simply lay down the values that you're going to use and sort of get a very rough sort of picture of how your thing will look. And then after you've gotten a decent way with that, after you've sort of gotten those mostly down and gotten those mostly sorted, that's when you're going to come in here with the smaller brushes and sort of start and start sort of doing the specific sorts of like cleanups and blending and all that sort of like stuff on top of all that. So if my thing actually wants to work, yeah. So once you've gotten like the big shapes down and all that, that's when you're sort of going to go in with these brushes and sort of start blending everything together a little bit more. But you can leave that for a fairly long time, and
Mhm.
leaving the longer that you sort of leave it and keep it this sort of big. Oh, is this actually going to work for me? The longer that you sort of stay at this sort of big blocky level, the more impact you're going to get, I guess. Painting's hard.
It's fun though.
It's super
It's
fun.
fun.
And I really do recommend checking out, I'm going to keep pimping it out, the tutorial channel. So many good videos about painting. So many. There's like a bunch in there. I really recommend giving them a look-see.
And Ellie's posted 3/4 of them.
Yep.
Well, nobody else is.
Shh.
I
I mean, there's
can
some few.
recommend. Yeah, I can recommend a channel that I've been watching lately is Marco Bucci, and they are pretty much a an artist that posts stuff on YouTube. BUCCI. They have a tutorial series called 10 Minutes. 10 Minutes to Better Painting, and it's basically each video focuses on sort of a separate aspect of painting, and it might be edges, it might be sort of merging shapes together, it might be this, it might be that. And what I do is I like to watch one of those, and it goes through, explains it, and then gives you a bit of an example. And then I like to spend a day or spend a couple of days trying to do up a piece where I can explore the concept in that video. And that's really helped me with my painting stuff and sort of getting me to a more confident point. So I can recommend 10 Minutes to Better Painting on YouTube. Very useful.
Another
Alright.
fun thing to do if you have the oh, sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
Last little, if you have the patience, watch someone paint live. It can be a little slow sometimes, but there's a lot to be gained just from watching. And it's great background noise, especially if they're like chatty or have good songs on or whatever.
Hmm.
It's, yeah,
Only vibes.
only vibes.
Alright.
Don't be scared to hue shift your background as well.
Yeah.
Hue shift.
Let's do the top left-hand corner.
Top
It's
left.
a burb.
Yeah.
Burb.
Is it a burb?
It's a burb. This
It's
is
Inky's
by.
burb day tomorrow.
Oh.
Fun burb fact.
Did you make him a burb cake?
No, but I wrapped burb presents.
Is that just
So-
like a
Yay.
ball of burb seed?
Yeah. That's exactly it.
It's peanut butter. This is by Demon Slayer 3215. After a long
Oh.
time, I finally gave digital another chance, and I think I've gotten the hang of it. Hey, that's great. It's great you feel you've got the hang of it. You've given it another try. It's always good to keep trying. You something you fall, you stand up. I don't know how that goes, but horse.
You try your best, but you don't succeed. That one? Is that the one you're thinking about?
I was thinking Batman, but
Oh.
same idea. That's Coldplay. Yeah. Anyway, words. Holy crap, I'm losing track of what I'm doing. Yeah. I'm interested. What program have you gotten comfortable with? I'm noticing some artifacting going on, and how the brush is moving. I'm just interested in what one you're using, and actually what you're using to draw digitally too. Both can have upsides based on what program you're using. If you're using a mouse, there's some with like mouse acceleration where you can use it as a fake brush. So as you move your mouse, it'll actually create that sharp tail. And as you slow it down and come to the end of your line, it'll end that sharp tail. But if you're using like a tablet and drawing on it, then there's other ones that can use the velocity based on your tablet or pressure. All depends on what you have.
Yeah, messing with brushes is fun.
Second question, are you using references? References are great. We love references. We highly suggest them. Always don't be afraid to use references. Don't feel like it's cheating, because it's totally cheating and you've earned it. No,
Yeah.
but what I mean is it's not bad. Everyone's doing it and they do it for a good reason, because it helps. And it's not a bad thing to get a little help on this. That's why you've posted in our subreddit. Art is not created in a bubble, so don't force yourself into a bubble to create your own art. You want to pull from places. You want to grab references. You want to examine other artists and start absorbing their styles. Nothing is unique, and that's fine. You are creating something yourself out of sources that you've pulled from other locations. Beautiful. I think that made sense.
I think
Oh
it was
yeah,
good.
dude.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll talk in circles one day.
Yeah, I think with this beak, don't be too scared to sort of come out in like a drastic sort of way, because you can come out a fair bit. And with the eyes, one of the big things to keep in mind when you're drawing sort of eyes in this sort of a way is that you've got the height for both eyes roughly the same, which is good, but this far eye is going to be shorter, because if you look at sort of the curvature of the head, this eye is more directly facing us. So that one's going to be bigger, and that one's going to be shorter because it's just on like sort of facing away from us sort of thing. You can see it more explicitly if you look down at this like face down here. I also just added the far ear here because why not? When you're like doing out your planning sketches and that sort of stuff, I like to have like very rough. Let's do a color like this. Yeah, I like to have some like very rough planning stuff. So I sometimes do like little stalks or like little little bean things or little whatevers, and those help me sort of understand the emotions that I'm going for and how like the ears contribute to the emotion of the pose and that sort of stuff before I go forward. So going simpler when you're in the planning stage can sort of help in positioning those in interesting places. But it looks good.
Birds are hard. But yeah, you did a really good job.
All right, shall we move on to our next picture?
Yeah.
Yeah. Feel free to submit more stuff to us. Yeah.
Cute bird. I love seeing birds.
Birds are good. Not enough birds.
She might have a bias.
Don't sell me out.
Next one. It is by Circuit Main. Drew a G1 in a more G4 style. I was in a art challenge to do a redrawing of a G1 character and also beer. I decided that Majesty from G1 would be an interesting character too. The fun thing about her is she's completely crazy. If you read her stories, she's trapped enemies in paintings, turning foes to stones and trees, and is stupidly overprotective of her ponies. So I can just imagine the kind of benders she would go on. Wait, is this actual like G1 MLP? Like
I mean, I feel like the older stuff was always dark.
they trapped people in paintings? I think that's
Yeah.
worse than turning to stone.
It's like some Zelda Link Between Worlds stuff. So I feel like the first thing that comes out to me in this is to like just sort of watch your scaling with stuff, because like these items are either like really far away or like, you know, to different degrees, or like some of them are really small that she's floating through the air. Like the beer, I'm assuming that's what that is. The brew cans are really tiny compared to her, even if they're floating sort of behind her. That unless she's absolutely giant, those are some very cool small cans, and just sort of the scaling of everything else could be different as Bruce. Um, it's just a case of it's very easy to get wrapped up in just drawing like the shapes of things, but and I can see also that you've got the bottle tipped, but the other things are all kind of just like floating normally. Um, I would like it's really fun to play around with, like take this and then just like redraw them, and then think, okay, how now I've got these basic shapes down.
That hand is yeah. If I may, your magic's not really prevalent going on here. Uh, MLP loves to make their magic shiny and just little glittery. They like to outline it. If I was going with this one, I would do a very nice light shiny blue. Just now you don't have to do it standard MLP style, but it definitely does make a show of things to really emphasize that there's something hanging around there, because the blue gets lost in the blue that has the blue that has the blue that has the blue. There's a lot of blue going on here. Just a little shine really adds to it. Apparently she has a brick. One moment, it seems the Discord has dropped. Discord. Still trying to get this connected. One moment.
Oh, so you can hear him just with a bit of a disconnect.
Oh, I might
There
be
we
able
go.
to hear
Now
you
you can hear
now.
us.
Yay!
Okay, I couldn't
There
get
we
it
go.
launched with the app. I am now on the web app. Whatever.
Oh no,
We're
Oh,
back.
that's
fun.
weird.
We
Um,
did it.
I completely the audio cut out when someone started drawing this white brick.
Oh no, that like cut out everything I was talking about.
Everything.
No, you only left towards the end of it of what I was saying, but
Yeah, I
the
don't know what's
the
going
stream
on.
the stream didn't get any of that.
Nope.
No, well, what I was saying was that like I was drawing the sort of box to show where you can place how you can sort of sketch out like where things might be, even if it's not totally accurate. Just like it's going to occupy this sort of area, and then you can work about putting details in. I talked about having overlap with this bottle in the background, putting everything at different directions so that they're not all like floating straight on. I also wondered whether the objects were floating in a direction across the scene behind them, like this, or whether they were just floating behind them, and if they were moving, placing some behind the characters sort of helps to emphasize that, and also to mention that if they are moving, then the motion against the liquid will be going this way, so it'll be pushed against the glass that way. But it depends on whether they're floating still or not. But the motion would be a good idea because they're like, yeah, let's party, and like moving all these, throwing all these objects towards the partying ponies. So
Yay.
that's the majority of what I talked about.
Sorry about that.
Is the background noise on my thing distracting or no?
I didn't hear any.
I don't hear any.
And I have
Sorry,
you
I
turned
had
up
to
to
sneeze.
200%.
Yay. So these things are all floating in magic, but it's
Uh-huh.
pretty difficult to sort of tell that, even though you've got sort of the magic aura on here and on here. So
Yeah.
if you look at the show, what they do is they always have some sort of like connection between the horn and all of the things that are floating. and
Well,
it can help. It doesn't even need to be sort of like a physical sort of aura like this. What you can
Yeah.
do is, instead of having this sort of like explicit shape here, you can just have like little
Yeah.
particles kind of like connecting.
Well, I'll say is it
between
doesn't need to be, it can be, but it doesn't need to be like an actual conjoined connection, because you will see them just sometimes having just like a magic around the horn and then magic floating around objects. But the problem is that the magic color is very, very close to the main color, and even the darker blue around the objects is still very hard to see. Usually they go for brighter pastel colors. And I remember one of the rules, there isn't like a steadfast, like, here's how we do it for Hasbro, but it's like the magic can take the color of like the main, and then it's like, if not, then it's like the eye colors. If not, it's like one of the cutie mark colors, and if not, then just any color. But like there's sort of like a use main color. If main color doesn't really work, okay, no, it clashes. Let's use the eye color. There's sort of like, I might not have the order right, but it's definitely an order of those things, where it's like you use colors relevant to the pony's color scheme or palette. But if those are clashing and just don't work, then you can pick anything. But there's no reason to say like, okay, it's dark blue because it's the eye color, because that's I think having some clashing issues against the main here. So like, yeah, cyan like Pixie Drew I think would actually be really good for this character.
All right. Is that it?
Yeah, so it's good to experiment.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's
Yeah,
move on to our next one.
So
Once again, sorry about that disconnect. I will
Things happen.
shake my fist
so
at
unprofessional.
It wasn't the
Jesus.
Zom's fault.
So we'll blame the Microsoft buyout.
Yep. They've already started.
So this picture is by Casual Free Guy. Never drawn a pony before, but was asked to draw this OC. How'd I do on my first try?
This is a work of art. I love it.
The expression's pretty great.
Yeah, it's wonderful. So it's drawing ponies for the first time. There are definitely a lot of things about the anatomy that I can see from, having experience in drawing ponies and learning these things. There are definitely stuff I can see where it's just not quite like optimized, like the leg sort of juts back here very far, and just like little things like that aren't quite. Yeah, someone's on the game there, where it's we could you could do things differently. I do think this is very good because drawing a pony for the first time is not as easy as it looks when you see the simplistic style. I remember drawing it first time, being like, oh, this is actually, I'm gonna have to take some time to learn how to do this properly. So I think you did a wonderful job. I love this sort of like leg forward idea that I think emphasizes the pose a lot more. I wonder if they're trying to do sort of like a dramatic like rarity fainting, like hoof up to the face thing, or whether they're trying to see into the distance, or whether they're like face huffing, or whether they're just shocked, or whether they're just doing a silly expression. I'm not quite sure. They might be trying to see into the distance, or who knows.
Could be anything. Am I muted or not?
No,
you're
we can
good.
hear you.
Okay, cool. It says I'm muted. Okay, whatever. Thanks, Discord.
It does. Well, I can hear you.
Basically, it's good to try to have the hooves and try to have the different parts doing different things, and that's kind of where this this leg that's closer to us is going this way, and this one that's further away is going that way, and that's just to sort of add some visual interest to the pose. I've added like a slight direction to this hoof, like by default it's just going straight up and down, but I've just pushed it a little bit that way just to sort of help balance out things, because with these three hooves now you've got sort of this nice sort of just balance going on there. All the weight's in the middle here, so it's all sort of concentrated. With this sort of hoof that's going back, I've just got this this very specific.
Okay, he dropped.
Oh,
The
oh
Discord
no.
finally realized he was an anomaly with a voice but no voice, a voice but no mouth.
That's bad. Do we have another?
It was so weird being able to hear him but not see the face lining up. Discord is glitching up for us hard tonight. Technical difficulties. Where's my picture?
He's not going to be online. He's not going to see that.
No, I I just wanted to put it for the sake of the. I don't remember where I put all my things.
Welcome back, Pix. You dropped about halfway through your last sentence. Oh, you
Oh.
dropped again.
Oh. Oh.
You there, buddy? Okay, so we're gonna have issues all tonight. This is gonna be a thing. Let's see if
Oh,
we can
no.
get through it before we drop everyone. And looks like they're still drawing on top of it a bit.
So I guess anyone else want to try to say something?
No.
Yeah. Sorry, we got sidetracked because everything was dropping.
Pixie joining in and out.
So, your first drawing. Don't be scared of using references. I'm looking at the rest of your profile, and it looks like, for the most part, you might be pulling some references from some locations for your LARPing drawing, your LARPing story draw thing that you did, which is a really cool idea. My suggestion would be don't be afraid of using them for other locations, especially if this is your first drawings. And especially if it's your thousands drawing. Don't be afraid to use them, ever. They are a useful tool to lean on. It's like choosing not to use a pencil because it seems wrong. It's weird. Use stuff. So your references. Go collect them from wherever you can. You can either collect them from other artists, you can collect them from the shows, you can collect them from the back of cereal boxes. Doesn't matter. Use your references. Find something that you want to emulate and do that, because we loved grabbing our references from the show, especially early on, just trying to get the portions down to what the show would have. This is useful because it's easy to work on your like pen handling, your basics, get the shapes down, all of that type of stuff, and then start expanding past there to sort of build up a style. I like to suggest that, but it's honestly not for everyone. If you work more in the way of just going ham on it, then do that. Find what works for you. Anyone else got anything on this one?
Nope.
I'll just reiterate what Pixie was saying earlier, and they were talking about how the hooves were placed as they were. It's good that you have visual difference and visual interest for the connections of the hooves, where they're placed and whatnot. It gives the pose that much more liveliness, as well as it doesn't feel so samey. I'm slowly watching the words appear to see.
Flat of hoof. Body cylinder of hoof. I can pin him in there.
IDK LOL. The wisest words. The wisest. All right, they can talk in the.
We're gonna have a weird time today. Anyway, I'm gonna leave that little chat window up, just in case they have anything to say in particular, because they have dropped out of our standard voice chat. Ellie, I noticed you drew one next to it. Do you have anything in particular?
So mine's just a different interpretation of the pose. I kind of pushed it so that the legs were a little more evenly spread and we had a little bit more angle on the body than just the two just from side view. So it gives it a little more uniqueness to the pose itself. We have like a nice separation between all the legs. That way they're not all encroaching on each other's spaces, and it gives a little more, curve to the pose. Just to visually make it a little more interesting. This is just my interpretation of it. This one's hard because this is like inherently breaking anatomy, which is not bad. It's just, horses would never be able to do this, and you have to just kind of BS your way into getting the feel you want. So if we're going for more of a lookout pose and not like a hoof, I guess a head hoof or a hand palm, head palm, you know, you can take artistic liberty sometimes and just make it work. Because sometimes that all art has to do is just work.
Work
And you get a
it.
little more like
They call it artwork.
they're looking. They're looking intensely in the distance. Frazzled. Yeah. It all I mean, a lot of this comes down to back to what Sam said with references. References are
Mhm.
amazing, and references are the reason I can do stuff like this, because learning from others and good things and good times. They are naked. They're very shocked. They see that their buddy over here has clothes. It's rough. It's rough being a naked horse.
Be cold. All right, shall we move on to our next one?
Let's do. Wait, is there? Oh yeah,
There's, yep.
Scooby-Doo.
Bottom left. Oh, come on, miss. Yep. Oh, we got a scoot going.
Scootaloo.
This is by Seven Serenity. I'll fly higher, redraw. Seven Serenity, 8-year difference. And holy sweet everything, that's a difference.
It's so
Buddy,
nice.
just well done. Give yourself a few pats on the back.
Clap, clap, clap. Seriously though, this is a really nice, like, you can tell the skill jump. It's been so good. There's so many nice changes.
It's the old one for those of us who want to see it.
I will put it in the chat for anyone who's interested. Because I have so many different windows open, I am scared to open up the picture. um, some wonderful soft cell shading going on. It's very nice. I see 3 sets of tones for your levels. That's wonderful, and your shading's done with hue shifting, not just turning it darker. The way you've built up clouds is looking wonderful. Great effort has gone into this picture, and it shows. There are a few things we can work on though, and this is now getting into the nitpicking land, but let's do it because that's half the fun, right? No. We got oh, looks like Pixar already hopping onto that one. Then this backline here. So the way your main has gone, I can see you've placed the back here, which is good. That makes sense for the proportions, that they're jelly bean. But then your main has gone and contacted the corner of the wing. What that makes it is kind of bizarre for the shape, because it runs it means their neck is connecting with their shoulder blade as opposed to having that go straight down the back. So my correction for this would just be, oh, come on, pen. Oh nope, there's something invisible in my way. Okay.
Oh no.
Take the pen and just, yeah, there it is. we just try and make that mane follow the spine. And that should cut off that weird tangent that's forming. Also, she got one of those butt tattoos. Just like to point that out. Maybe remember that one. I don't know. Depends what generation or what age
One of
she
the
is.
best episodes. Yeah.
I'm interested where you're gonna go with your art. Because right now I'm seeing pictures of ferrets and pictures of cats sitting inside of frying pans, but I'm not seeing much art as I scroll through your Reddit profile. I'm interested. Where else do you post? Do you have something like a gallery or something we can stock? Unfortunately, I won't get to know what they say until later. Anyone else have anything to say on this picture?
Pixie
cute and
just
soft.
jumped in to make the neck a little thinner, just because it's like a little too.
A little too thick. Yeah, I lost Ellie.
Oh no. Oh
And
no.
it looks. And take a look at the
I
closer shoulder. Sorry?
I was trying to find like the technical difficulties MLPDS stream, and I just can't find it because apparently my files are so badly organized.
Everything is broken.
True. That's
Oh, we
the
lost
truest
Ellie.
version of that song.
Oh no, I see Picarto reconnecting now to. Oh, there it goes. Holy cow.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, we're
I
just
can tell it's
gonna
gonna-
wrap it up. Oh no. I changed the shading bit so it kind of conveys the shoulder blade sort of thing or equivalent. I think we should wrap this up now. Looks like everything is
Yeah.
breaking. So thank y'all for coming. Sorry for anyone who got their art critiqued and are just like, what went on there? Why are there large breaks? It's because everything is screwed up.
I'll send you the file later so you can like edit it into the start of the video or something.
So thank you all for coming, and we'll see you again next time. Bye.